What's up, everyone? So it's another episode of Crave Talk. For this one, we're going to be quickly going over a Kickstarter game, the upcoming Rainbow Six: The Siege game, and I'll also be doing a little talk on, Kickstarter versus pre-orders, and we'll quickly touch on the sales numbers for the PlayStation. I'm kind of curious as to who actually remembers the original Descent game. Um, I vaguely remember playing the first one in the series, but it was a long time ago. And from memory, it was a great 3D space simulation slash shooter at the time. For those of you who weren't aware, it was a game where you could pilot a small ship in a maze-like environment, and for the most part, you had to destroy these robot things, and I believe you had to rescue hostages or people or something like that. So, if you're looking for a comparison to picture it inside your head, imagine being in the cockpit of the TIE Fighter or the X-Wing, minus or just subtract the vastness of space. You weren't really confined in terms of movement, but you were confined in terms of the space that you could work with. So you would sometimes, in that small ship that you were in, you would, have to travel through small maze-like structures, like you were in a cave of some sorts, and you had to go through, mechanical caves, and you basically had to reach a reactor to destroy it on some missions. So it was something like that. So this was a pretty old game way back in the day. Now, it's being brought back. Well, at least they're trying to bring it back through a Kickstarter project. So the people behind this project are some of the people, or were some of the people that used to be working with Chris Roberts for his big Kickstarter project, Star Citizen. So this looks to be something promising if the dev team can, basically stay true to the original formula while adding modern gameplay elements. So, as mentioned, it's Descent Underground and it's currently seeking Kickstarter funding. So, as with most Kickstarter projects, you can opt to pledge different amounts depending on how much you want to give. So, you're seeing some of the sample rewards depending on the amount you want to pledge. So, the project is looking for 600,000 US dollars in funding and is currently sitting with $330,000 of pledges with about a week to go. So anything can happen until the timer runs out, but Kickstarters with strong interest are normally successful days even before the deadline. Eh, Anyway, if all goes well on Kickstarter, they expect to deliver the game by March of next year. Okay, so the upcoming Rainbow Six game. Um, Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk about it over the last few years, and newer FPS releases like Hardline certainly can be distracting. But Ubisoft recently updated us with the new operator trailer that you're seeing right now. So the game has been in development and is still being improved by Ubi. The dev team still focuses on the what it has been basically known for. So that's the tactical realism, and right now they're trying to improve on the destructible environments which the game has. So that part can, you can use that part to your advantage, or it can be used against you. So to be honest, when I first viewed the trailer from about a year ago, I thought that the game would focus only on the multiplayer game mode, as the trailer released, it was just only showing that. However, several sources have already mentioned that it would also include a campaign mode, a basic campaign mode. And quoting this from the single player only website, we understand that while this year we showed multiplayer because we want to have fun playing it against each other internally, it's a good test to know if a game is fun. But we are 100% aware that single player is a big part. We are currently working on that also. So, from with that, here's to hoping that they do well in both parts of the game, as Rainbow Six has always been fun. If you want or are interested in getting into the closed beta, just make sure to pre-order the game, as the pre-order key entitles you to surefire access. Uh, to me, that's a pretty good incentive if to pre-order the game, but then, you know, you just have to be cautious, as recent releases of AAA games have shown that you should just be, wary of where you spend your money. Um, you know, On that topic, while Rainbow Six can be exciting, it just leads me into the next topic, which is the differences between pre-orders and Kickstarters. I mentioned the Kickstarter project for Descent earlier, and that has, basically happened with many other games. One of the most recent successful ones is Pillars of Eternity. I mentioned that I think, in Crave Talk 1, and it has so far, garnered very positive reviews from Metacritic, well, at least the aggregated scores in Metacritic. And whether or not Descent reaches its funding target isn't the point. The concern is whether you should actually, if you were even considering it, back such Kickstarter projects. So, backing a project is very similar to, actually, sort of similar to pre ordering a game. You're banking on a product that basically hasn't been released yet. You're hoping that you haven't spent or unnecessarily wasted your hard earned money. Now, if you're the average person like me who has to earn a living, you'd certainly hope that investing in a hobby will pay off. I mean, not necessarily, you know, in terms of money, but at least you'll get, something really nice out of it. Um, One thing I've noticed is that Kickstarter projects tend to give more information than pre-orders, and that's pretty much understandable. They have to provide a roadmap on the project's milestones, so more often than not, these projects will have hard targets on when a game is going to be released, or at least the mid part of the game, and which particular aspects of the game are ready for public viewing. uh, think of backers as shareholders. They have the right to the detailed reports during the earnings call, so it's not so, backers and shareholders are not so different. um, Pre-orders, on the other hand, promise you goodies both in game and outside the game to entice you to pre-purchase a product that is still months away from release. So this is where, and just frankly, this is where reputation comes into play. If you want to pre-order a product, you've got to look at the previous products of the developer. So think of the Witcher series. In addition to being very open about their trailers, you're not just seeing some CGI trailer. You're actually seeing gameplay trailer. You also know that CD Projekt Red has done well in the previous games, namely being Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. They've also been very open about the fact that their DLCs, or their downloadable content, is going to be free. So, pre ordering from a company like this that is offering you so much value for your money with a good reputation doesn't seem like that much of a risk if you think about it. Now, to be honest, EA and Activision should pay attention to, this kind of practice. Look at Hardline and Destiny. Destiny had one of the biggest budgets, $500 million, and the aggregated scores from users and game reviewers is pretty mediocre. So yeah, EA and Activision should really do something about their releases. Anyway, either route for getting games ahead of everyone else is pretty viable, but you've got to be careful on where you spend your money. If you go the Kickstarter route, make sure you know about the team working on the project and whether or not they provided clear information on the main Kickstarter page. If you pre-order a game, make sure that the company and the dev team behind it has a good track record. You've got to understand too that even if they have a good track record, it doesn't mean that the game that they're about to release is going to be a good one. This week's episode, I just want to mention that the PlayStation 4 has sold over 20 million units. It's not really surprising. You can basically add my wife's recent purchase of the console to the future sales count, as she picked it up about 2 weeks ago. What you're seeing right now is a preview of the unboxing video I got for it. So, even before she got it, she asked me which console to get, as she didn't understand much, neither did I, but I did my research, and basically I just considered two things, which of the two was really just, or was just geared for gaming from the get-go, and the second one was that which one had better hardware, and on both counts, it was really just the PS4. So the look of the system itself, I guess, also adds a small amount of appeal to that decision I made. I just really have to admit that the design on this machine is much better compared to the Xbox One. Now, Microsoft has recently become more aggressive in terms of pricing their own console and is now at par with Sony's offering. And if I'm not mistaken, they're further trying to lower the price to better compete with Sony. So, in any case, let's see down, in the next few months how Microsoft will fare against Sony. In any case, I'll be showing you again that unboxing video I did sometime next week. See you guys in the next one.